Quite the stimulating day. As Congress passes a relief package, Colorado's elected leaders announce one of their own, right out of the blue. There are so many vaccines going out right now, we've shifted from big celebrations to quiet victories. Each shot a step closer to normal.
I miss the hugging. I miss the closeness, arms around you.
Yet we know vaccines are not always getting to the Coloradans who need them most. These women know how to help, and I know how we can help them.
Everyone for themselves!
The Snow Day Revolt succeeded. Colorado's largest school district is bringing back snow days. We'll catch up with the fifth grader whose plea on Next went viral. All hail the most popular kid in the city. Next. You get a stimulus, and you get a stimulus. Democrats in Congress passed their plan today, and both parties' leaders in Colorado came together to announce their own stimulus relief plan. That federal package was expected. The state plan is more of a surprise, and finally, a surprise that isn't entirely awful. Politics guy Marshall Zellinger explains where your money is going.
This product that is being presented today is the work of long hours, many sleepless nights.
If you didn't know any better, Democratic Governor Jared Polis was talking about the effort it takes to combat Colorado unemployment. No, he and a dozen lawmakers standing with him announced the Building Back Stronger stimulus package, which is odd since the state had to cut $3.5 billion last year.
It looks like things weren't as bad as we thought they would be. Maybe the right cut would have been about $2.5 billion.
The stimulus package is estimated at $700 million. And while this announcement was positive,
get ready, because this is the launch of the Colorado comeback.
Perhaps lacking in enthusiasm, it was also political, since every dollar spent from this stimulus has to come from a bill passed by the legislature.
Senate Republicans are focused on 3 items: getting people back to work, getting students back to school, and roads and bridges. And if a bill wanders outside of those 3 priorities, we would encourage that we take whatever dollars are allocated to that and probably focus on those 3 priorities.
The biggest dollar item, $170 million for transportation, mainly bridges on I-70 in the western part of the metro area and improvements at the Eisenhower-Johnson tunnels. $50 to $70 million expanding online access. $40 to $50 million would be to continue a program already in progress, allowing restaurants to keep the sales tax they normally have to pay the state, 2.9% on every sale.
We actually want to make sure that everything we do can help somebody who's sitting down at the kitchen table to say, how are we going to pay the bills next week?
Republican Minority Leader Hugh McKean told me this is the opportunity for Republican ideas to be heard that were not considered in the special legislative session in December. But not all ideas will have bipartisan support. There's also a $60 to $80 million idea for affordable housing and transforming downtown spaces, which McKean said might be more of a local issue. And there's a $10 to $15 million idea to give local governments money to rent hotel or motel rooms for people experiencing homelessness. Not on the list, savings. If you cut previously, like last year, why not put some of that money back in those programs or in a piggy bank? And that's a topic that the Republicans are going to want to have. One issue, Kyle, would be about the unemployment fund, which is, I think it's now $1 billion. I don't know the number anymore. I feel like it's $1 billion out of money. And at some point, the business owners of Colorado are going to see higher taxes to pay that fund back, and it's possible some of the state money could be used to give those business owners a break to help replenish it with state funds instead.
You know, Marshall, I think back to about 9 months ago, all of the dire budget predictions for what this year's budget could look like and even next year's state budget, and thankfully the worst predictions have not come to pass.
But going through those meetings, and we're going to get another update next Friday, but that's looking ahead, not just this year, but next year as well. And just because we have this money from the things that we did last year, it's good that we didn't lose as much as we thought. There is still a problem looking ahead, but we'll get an update on that next week.
From 2020's receipts. All right, Marshall, thank you very much. Hey, a new look at our new vaccination chart. 11.3% of the state's population is now fully vaccinated. That's more than 653,000 people, some with 1 shot, some of them with 2. Just under 8% of the population partially vaccinated. That means that they have had 1 dose of the 2-shot Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. Next viewer Bill in Lake City was asking just a few minutes ago if our pie chart includes Coloradans 16 and under, people who are not currently on the vaccine schedule. It's not been approved for them. Yes, Bill. The whole pie is the whole state population, People 16 and under are about 20% of it. Vaccination process is already getting ordinary, and that's wonderful. The first few vaccination clinics, were swarmed with TV cameras and all kinds of public attention. Today, Steve Steger and photojournalist Chris Hansen spent the morning at a run-of-the-mill vaccine clinic in Lone Tree. No long lines, no mass chaos, just lots of happy people.
When you watch the mountains throughout the day, different parts of the mountains will pop out.
The view from this hallway can't be beat.
Hello, come on down.
Just ask Chad LaRock.
Same place, same time.
He's here all morning.
We wrote it down back here. There's a whole range of emotions as people are going through this process.
Emotions.
It was a hard year because you didn't know what to do and what not to do.
And she called me yesterday. Boom, here I am.
Don't have to ask Linda Mason Gallagher how she feels. It's written right on her shirt.
What day is it? Oh, it's vaccine day.
She hasn't always been this excited.
Oh, gosh.
When the other residents in her senior community got the shot, she sat out.
But I was really concerned about my long-term data on this. Sure. Because my quality of life is so good.
Her doctor convinced her.
And I'm at risk. I mean, I'm 72. I should get it.
Diane Wyszkowski didn't have to search for a reason either.
I have a mother in 24-hour care, and it will be easier to feel that I'm not bringing anything to her.
None of our friends want to get together with us if we don't have the injection.
Vaccine Day marks the end of isolation for Marie Steigerwald and Jacob.
My husband for 64 years.
It means they will actually be able to see family.
We hope to get together with our sons, who will then be able to remove his mask.
And the main thing I miss is my trainer in the gym. It's been a year, and of course I've lost all my muscle mass. I've put on weight. Fitness was just my life. I loved it. I mean, I did it every day. It was great. So I've got to get back to that.
Linda is glad she changed her mind.
See Karen over on the right?
Because the view from here...
We're going to get back to things, have our lives back. We have that freedom. We'll be able to hug people again.
Thank you, you too.
Touch, hold hands.
This view can't be beat.
I'm glad I wore my T-shirt.
For next, I'm Steve Steger.
I see the numbers, and you can't forget just how intensely personal it is for so many people. Wonderful that they all got their vaccines today. Colorado's Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert echoed the rhetoric of the insurrectionists leading up to the attempted coup at the Capitol in January, and now a Democratic colleague wants Boebert investigated for it. On the morning of the insurrection, Congresswoman Boebert tweeted out, "Today is 1776. President Donald Trump's supporters stormed the Capitol, shouting threats against key leaders, and Boebert tweeted House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had left the House chambers. Washington Democratic Representative Primala Jayapal sent letters to the House Committee on Ethics as well as the Office of Congressional Ethics asking for a look at what Boebert and two other Republicans said and did leading up to that day. Boebert has dismissed this concern previously as simply being partisanship. The quest to get the most vulnerable Coloradans access to the vaccine is sometimes happening at a one-on-one level, person to person, giving individual Coloradans information and support to make that choice. You can give out tens of thousands of shots at a mass vaccination event and still not necessarily reach the people in our community who need the vaccine the most. That is where the women of Cultivando are doing important work that we can support together tonight. Our Word of Thanks micro-giving effort this week supports a small but mighty nonprofit out of Adams County that has a long track record of advocating for, among other things, health equity in the Latino community. The Promotoras, the community health workers of Cultivando, they are trusted resources in Adams County, only county in the metro area where more than a third of the population is Latino. Cultivando's Promotoras have been working to get accurate information out about the vaccine and to provide access at both ends of the process. So they'll work with the government agencies and the health providers to make sure that vaccine events have effective outreach and cultural competency so that they're able to actually attract and serve the communities in need of the vaccine. And the Promotoras also work on the individual level, helping individual Coloradans navigate the maze of information and resources to get connected with the vaccine. There is more demand for their services right now than they can meet. Olga Gonzalez, who runs Cultivando, says they are ready to scale up right now, and using our support, they can expand their team's reach during this critical time to get people vaccinated. If you text the word thanks to 303-871-1491, I'll send you that link to donate. As always, I'll match the first 50 donations at $5 tonight. We've talked about the fact that vaccine equity is a serious issue in Colorado. Well, now we know there's something that we can do together to help.
Snow days should become a thing again.
A point. Denver Public Schools admits it.
You guys have snow days back thanks to Charlie. And everyone, they looked at me. They did the little head thing like.
Here's to kids being the change they want to see in the world. And here's to adults who listen. Next. It's shaping up that we're going to have to pay for that super expensive natural gas that was purchased by Colorado's energy companies during last month's cold snap. State regulators are going to give those companies like Xcel one more week to provide proof that their spending was justified and that customers were warned to conserve. Although one PUC commissioner said this morning he wants to see it worked out where companies and their shareholders are sharing the risk with us customers.
It just seems like when customers win, shareholders should win. And when customers get creamed like they did here, shareholders should feel it too. When I look at us, I just don't understand how we regulate storage, hedging, timing of gas purchases, conservation messages in any way. I mean, I just think you got to align incentives and hope they do it well.
Ultimately, the PUC, the state regulators, they'll be the ones to decide if the energy companies can pass the dollar-to-dollar cost onto you, the customer, or how much of it they're going to have to eat. Build a snowman this weekend. Name it Charlie, for the kid who helped convince Denver Public Schools that snow days should not be replaced with remote learning. DPS announced today that it will not automatically default to all remote learning on snow days anymore. They'll do one traditional snow day and then go to remote learning if schools have to be closed more than one day in a row. This is a wonderful compromise, apparently sparked by the 10-year-old Charlie Carabetta, who came on this program to make his plea. Charlie led February's Snow Day Revolt in Denver, appealing to his fifth-grade classmates on their Zoom call that they should all leave class and go join him on the sledding hill. Charlie's guest commentary on Next that night was a plea for the return of snow days. He was quite convincing. The clip went viral. Charlie telling adults that taking kids' snow days away makes them sad, and kids aren't good at sad. Charlie, like most kids, very good at happy.
It got me really hyped, you know? Because I didn't think that it was going to happen. I thought they were going to shrug it off and be like, oh, well, this kid doesn't have the authority over us. We can do what we want. But they actually took my idea into recommendation.
So Charlie's Snow Day Revolt succeeded. He helped make an impact. Credit Denver Public Schools, though, for listening, for understanding that snow days and the yearning for them even when they don't happen, it's just an essential part of childhood that shouldn't disappear simply because remote learning is now an easy option. If Denver does not call a snow day on Monday, or for all the rest of the year, or for all of next year too, you know what? I still think that this is a win for the kids and a win for common sense. Just the hoping for a snow day, the chance to commiserate with your friends about snow days that don't happen. It's part of the experience of being young. Thank you to Charlie for reminding us what that's worth. And thanks to Denver Public Schools for recognizing it.
The big weekend storm is finally moving on shore. It'll be here on Friday. National Weather Service putting out a winter storm watch for 12 to 20 inches of snow for Denver starting Friday and ending Sunday with 15 to 36 inches of snow in the foothills. Between now and then, windy and cool with a chance of a rain or snow shower, but no accumulation. And the cold weather trend will continue right into the weekend. Partly cloudy, 25 tonight. Tomorrow, partly sunny and 46, a stray rain or snow shower. But the main event comes Friday. The heaviest snow will be Saturday, and don't forget we spring forward on Sunday. Daylight saving time begins on the 14th.
She has a business to run. They are just trying to survive. Her perspective tonight on how they can coexist on Denver's streets.
It's not just a concern about my safety and our employees' safety. It's also about being humane and making sure that everyone's taken care of.
It's another view on a persistent challenge in the city. Next. Homelessness in Denver is a complex topic, so we try to bring you a variety of perspectives, viewpoints, ideas. Tonight we hear from a small business owner who sees people struggling every day outside the front door of her business.
There's so many different reasons and issues and stories about why somebody is unhoused and living on the streets. We have police officers and social workers come out here on at this point, like a weekly basis. Make it a little safer out here because we've had a lot of violence going on. My name is Nine Morrison and I own Wedlock's Bridal Hair and Makeup. My shop is just on 21st and Curtis. Some of the unhoused communities, specifically on our block, some of them are very peaceful, and then some of them aren't. This is from this weekend, a fight that happened. This happens every other day. We hear yelling, and then all of a sudden it's just people wailing on each other. This portion here, he's actually beating him up against our front door. The safety concerns are real. It's scary for me, it's scary for my employees. It's scary for our brides. We also want to make sure that the unhoused community is taken care of as well. They're not my enemy. That's not the situation. They're not my enemy whatsoever. There's addiction issues, there's mental health issues, and no matter what, I'm always going to empathize with that, and I'm always going to speak and advocate for that as well. I think it's time to stop ignoring the issue or putting some Band-Aids on it and start actually creating some long-term solutions. We just need to get back to that humanity of taking care of each other.
Nine shared her story through the lens of our photojournalist, Mike Grady. Mass vaccination clinics reach a lot of Coloradans at once, but not necessarily those most in need of the vaccine. That's where the nonprofit we're featuring on Word of Thanks this week comes in, and how we can help them reach more of our neighbors right now. We have the power together to help make vaccine distribution more equitable in Colorado by supporting the work of Cultivando. That longtime nonprofit out of Adams County uses the Promotora model, trusted community health workers who can reach out to people with accurate information, resources, often working one-to-one, person-to-person to help get people in the Latino community vaccinated. Text the word thanks to 303-871-1491. I'll shoot you that link to join me in donating. The Promotora's work is in high demand right now from government agencies, from vaccine providers, and from individual Coloradans. And together, we can help that nonprofit expand their efforts right away when it matters most. All your feedback tonight is about Charlie, the kid who saved snow days in Denver. Kathy Baca says, made my day. We need more kids like Charlie, and kids need the surprise of a snow day. Rob Cunningham says, kids aren't good at sad remains one of the best lines of the COVID era. That one sticks with me too.